In this video, we'll look at the key influencers visual, which is from AI visuals category. This visual helps you understand the factors that drive a metric. We will use this visual to analyze our UFO sightings data, rank the factors that matter, and display them as key influencers. And this visual is fully interactive, as you can use filters, slicers, and selections on other visuals to affect the results in this visual. Let us try to drag that visual. Let us try to use the drop down and look at the AI visuals. As you can see, there are many of them. There are 4 of them here. Key influencers is the one which we are interested in. There is a decomposition tree and also Q&A, and there is also smart narrative. We will try to use the key influencers visual. Let us click on it, and once we click on it, we can just try to resize it, and we can use a metric. Also, we can use a categorical column. So in this case, let us try to use our total sightings measure. Let us try to go and find that measure, and let us drag that on to analyze. So we want to analyze the total sightings. And also, as you can see on the left, it says no fields in explained by. So as we start adding however many fields which we want, once we do that, those results will be calculated accordingly. Let us try to drag some fields onto it. Let us try to drag some fields to explain by. Let us see what the fields which we can drag. Let us try to maybe use a decade bin. Let us drag that onto the explain by, and still it says it needs more fields. Let us try to drag maybe the shape. Now you see it is running analysis. So as you can see, the more fields you add, there is more things are available. So still we have to add more fields. Let us try to add the state and the city. So right away you can see those things are being calculated. And one thing we have to understand is this is an AI visual, and on metrics, when it is analyzing on the metrics, behind the scenes, this uses ML.NET, machine learning.NET, and it will run a linear regression to calculate the influencers. As we know that linear regression is a statistical model that looks at how the outcome of the field you are analyzing changes based on your explanatory factors. In our case, we are trying to look at total sightings, and we have added more fields to explain by. We have added decade bin, state, city, and as such. So once we add that, it will look at it will use a linear regression model, and it look at the changes based on these factors. So it will also consider, the linear regression also considers the number of data points. Now, as you can see right away, we have those key influencers. So we have those that drop down. It says what influences the total sightings to increase or decrease. Once you click on, say, this particular circle up here, it will give you, once you hover over it, it will give you all those details. And also if you click on it, as you can see, the bar chart also appears. I mean, this key influencers visual is kind of a combo, right? You have so many charts within this key influencers visual itself, and there is something on the top. As you can see, we have just clicked on the key influencers tab. If you click on top segments, it will calculate more things, right? But here it needs more explained by fields. So let us try to add more fields. Maybe we'll try to add country name, so that these are calculated again, the top segments. Let us try to go and find the country name column. So let us see. Again, it is running analysis. It's still unable to find out any kind of segment. Let us try to add another field. Let us drag a day of the week from explain onto explain by. So that way we have a visual here. It says it found one segment which is ranked by the average of total sightings in population site. So let me just close these things here so that we can see the visual much clearly. As you can see, These are the details which are being calculated. Again, we have to understand that this particular thing which is working on a metric, so this tab will display a ranked list of the individual contributing factors that drive the selected condition. The top segments tab will take this a step further and display groupings of key influencers and their impact on the selected condition, right? So again, to reiterate, behind the scenes, the AI visualization uses ML.NET and it runs a decision tree to find interesting subgroups. The objective of the decision tree is to end up with a subgroup of data points that relatively high in the metric you are interested in. The decision tree takes each explanatory factor and tries to reason with which factors give it the best split. So that means there are two things which are going on. In the key influencers, it is using a linear regression algorithm, and the top segments, it is using a decision tree. So that we need to keep in mind, and we can kind of continue to explore. We can add more fields, and as you add more fields, all the details will change, and this is one part of it. Like I said, we have used total sightings. We can switch that out to any categorical field as well. So once you're trying to analyze a categorical column, then the behind the scenes algorithm changes to logistic regression, right? So logistic regression is a statistical model that compares different groups to each other. And this in fact, in other words, it will search for patterns in the data. And this visualization will evaluate all the explanatory factors together, meaning that we have a decade bin, shape, country name, state, and city, right? And also we have expanded that by day of the week. So it will look at all the things together, and also it will also look at, say, a factor might be an influencer by itself, like we have seen in the key influencers. But when we look at the underlying logistic regression model, which will also look at why it might not be a key influencer. So those are things which are being run in the behind the scenes. So I have created a new report page. I have added, as you can see in this page, I have added a month name as the slicer, and up top, and I have used the same fields. If you can see, if I'll click on the visual and look at the fields, I have tried to analyze the total sightings by decade bin, shape, country name, state, and city, just like what we did in the previous page. And I've used the day of the week as the expand by. So in that column, so we can just play around. It's a fun visual. Like I said, it's a combination of a lot of visuals. As you can see, bar charts. If you have more metrics, it will also give you a scatter chart. And you can click on the drop down for the key influencers. What influences the total sightings to increase or decrease? If you click on decrease, it will also calculate again. Let me just close this. As you can see, it says if shape is teardrop, the average of total sightings decreased by 0.11. So if you click on any of those points, it will hover over. You can see that the explanation is given in detail. And if you click on it, you have your bar chart, which is telling you that, hey, when shape is diamond, the total sightings are decreasing, right? And same way, if you click on the top segments tab, hey, there are it found two segments and ranked them by average of total sightings and population size. If you click on any of them, it will give you more details. Like it says, hey, if the decade bin is not in 2010s, and these are the conditions which it looked at, and it says that this is what the top segments are. It says in segment 1, the average total sightings is 1.02, and this is also 1.11 units lower than the overall average 1.13. And it will also give you what are the data points and assets. So we can keep playing around this visual. And also if you go to the format section, and you can make a lot of changes to the way in which it looks. As you can see, you can add the title here, and you can, in this case, we are using a total sightings, which is a continuous metric. So in case if you use categorical, it will automatically switches to categorical here, and you can select and unselect key influencers or counts, and you can change it to relative or absolute, the count type. And if you want top segments, you can enable them. If you disable them, the top segments no longer appear. So all those things can be done. And also in the bubble visual colors, you can change those colors. And all these things are pretty easy. Once you start playing around with the visual, you can do all those things, right? So let us try to go back to the visual. And in case if you see, I have added a couple of things here. This is a helpful tool. And also I have added smart narrative. If we go back to our AI visuals, and there were 4 of them, we have used key influencers. And also on top of this visual, we have used narrative. So how can we add those things to up top here? All we have to do is go to the format, go to properties, and click on the header icons. And in the icon section, you have all those things. So you can toggle them, right? You can switch them on or off. In this case, I have added these 2 things. I have added a helpful tool, and you can write whatever you want in the text box available. You can add, I just added that this is a key influencers visual, so that it will be helpful for a user whenever they are looking at this report page. They can hover over on that, and it will tell you what type of visual is this. And also you can add the smart narrative. For example, whatever which is displayed here, the smart narrative is also an AA visual. So you can use it individually, but also you can use it like this. It will calculate, it will tell you, hey, total sightings decreased the most by so and so. Whatever we have seen here, it is being shown here. This is also another visual. And also lastly, I just wanted to talk about the other AA visual, decomposition tree. So the difference between key influencers and the decomposition tree is that in key influencers, it is using ML.NET based on the metric. If it is a metric, then it is a linear regression algorithm. If it is a categorical field which you are trying to analyze, and it is using logistic regression. And we have seen the top segments and as such, right? But here in this case, it is using clustering and ML methods to decide the relationships in key influencers. Whereas in decomposition tree, which is you have already a schema in your semantic model, so it is it has already those relationships which are already decided through the schema. So decomposition tree is using them already. So that's a key difference between them. And play around with these visuals, and it's a fun way to look at your data and try to get insights from your data. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.